mindset. It's a hypocritical mindset. If you're an elite like Donald Trump and you believe in prosperity, then you're an egalitarian. You can be an egalitarian elite, but you're not an egalitarian elitist. By nature, it's the opposite. It sounds similar, but it has nothing to do with it. Okay, just like the analogy I made between, true capitalism and crony capitalism. It's not apples and oranges. Okay, that is filet mignon versus apples. Apples to filet mignon, whatever. Okay, you understand? It's dramatic. It's nothing alike. It's night and day. It's 180 degrees different. And that's the point I'm trying to make here, is that the madness of this left is being up in arms. It is demonic. I mean, I've heard other people say this too, and I would concur, and I've already thought about that. And it's just nothing short of demonic. These people are acting crazy. They're acting violently, thrashing about, starting fires, punching people, cold cocking people for their political beliefs. And then they're calling them fascists. And they're out there chanting, love Trump's hate, love Trump's hate. Well, they're out there masks covering their faces so they can't be identified because their landlords would kick them out of their housing. Their employers would fire them. They don't give a crap about, Democrat, Republican, communist, or capitalist. I mean, look, you're done, dude. You're done. You're out there, assaulting the police, and then you convince other police to wear your pink hats, indicating what? I mean, you're just being vulgar. It's like they pick up on a meme, a talking point, and they all start chanting it. They love that. They love, let's just, la, 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 let's not listen to anything they're saying, and we've got our own ideas. That's not going to work. How is that going to, how's that going to close division? How is that going to bring us together as a people, as a species, as a civilization, as a society, and work our problems out and say, look, can we find some middle ground here where we agree on? Can we say that we believe in equality? This is why I'm always preaching equality. And it's so fundamental to understand it. We got to get it. Look, these people believe what they believe, and we can't be condemning. We can't be overly harsh. We've got to help them to understand. We've got to say, wow, how could they not see it? They've got to be a liar. They've got to be a deceiver. How do we know? We can't know for sure. All we can do is go to the Bible. What does God say? Love your enemy. So even if you believe they're a deceiver, that they're liars, that they don't believe their own BS, you might be entirely right. But you've got to use divine tact, and you've got to get up close and personal. Winston Churchill. By the way, Trump brought the bust of Winston Churchill back in the White House. Good, man, good. Hey, look, man, this is beautiful. Look, God's will is going to be done on earth as it is in heaven. All this business that's written in the Bible, it's all true. All prophecy eventually is fulfilled. So this prophecy about the return of Jesus is real. It's not a metaphor, okay? It is a tangible event that is due to take place. We're going to need something big. Maybe we need like an angelic flyover just to prove to people that, look, all your Bible is genuine and real. I mean, ask so many believers that have gotten proof just time after time again. They've gotten help in their life just to cope. I mean, isn't that enough? Isn't it a miracle these days that we're coping? I don't know how people do as well as we're amazing creatures. Amazing creatures, all of us. Look, I love all the communists. If you're for real, you're for real. That's the common denominator. That's the commonality we've got to seize upon. That people are passionate. Che Guevara was passionate, okay? And Alex Jones is passionate about his dislike for, the views and the actions. He thinks Che Guevara was a racist, and there may be evidence, I don't know. My dad liked him, I guess, because of his poetic nature. Maybe my dad, put blinders on about the violence he was engaged in, but he believed the cause of the people. See, my dad his paradigm changed when JFK was murdered. He was my dad was a Catholic, okay? My oldest sister made her Holy Communion. My dad had an entirely different paradigm. This was a guy brought up in a depression, lost his mother at 8 years old in childbirth, had to deliver newspaper and milk in the snow all day for a dime he had to give to the family to support it to his stepmother, who was very mean. He lived on hot dogs and Coca-Cola. He contracted multiple sclerosis in his 30s, and he says he thinks it was from the hot dogs and being brought up on that kind of food, white bread, hot dogs and Coca-Cola. Well, I'm not surprised. And I think my own health is suffering in part because of what, of living on that kind of food. It's nasty. He joined the Merchant Marines, had to steal his brother's ID, and from there he got into the Marine Corps. He was an enlisted man, a Marine in the Second World War, prepared to go kick Hitler's ass. I'm very kind of proud about that. He talks about the 50 millimeter guns he shot off the battleship Iowa. It's all pretty cool. But my dad was a great man I got a lot of respect for, and he was very liberal, and he really got to hate the Republicans, okay? And I can understand it. I know that some people will vaunt the virtues of Donald, I'll hear Roger Stone or various people of Nixon or Ronald Reagan. I think, you know what? Nothing got better. Listen to Paul Craig Roberts on Reagan. He didn't know what the hell was going on. He was a nice guy. Don't get me wrong. He'd be a gentleman to meet. I mean, I didn't dislike the man. I didn't hate the man. But, it's hard to get through to somebody that seems to have like they're not all there, okay? And, he didn't understand. You see, if you don't understand the fundamentals of economics, then you're going to get walked all over. And basically that's what happened. Wasn't it during that time we had the home savings and loan scandal and all that stuff? If I'm not mistaken, it was around the end of his reign, okay, that all that stuff happened. And then Nixon taking us off the gold standard. Who the hell, why did we need to open trade with China? Oh, because we're nice people. You don't want to be isolationist. Well, fine, let's open a little trade. Let's trade with them. Let's make it a two-way street, though, okay? It's been, all this stuff is deliberate. They've just messed everything up on purpose. That's what people got to understand. These black hats don't want it to work. That's an anathema to them. That's the worst possible thing. That's their worst nightmare. That's horrific for things to actually work for society. They don't want it to work. And Reagan was not a bad guy. In that sense, he was all right. Probably Nixon, too. Okay, so Roger Stone is right in that sense. But it's just, we all got to admit that the Republicans have been piles of you-know-what. I mean, with Nixon, quitting, and then we got Ford, who just got shooed in there. And then what have we had beyond that? We had Daddy Bush after that, right? 41 was it? And then we had Clinton, 42, the Democrat. I mean, good God, help us. And there we got another Bush for 8 years. After Clinton's 8 miserable years, let's add it up. Now 8 years of Obama. I mean, 30 years at least. Even if you say, well, Reagan wasn't a bad guy and things were still salvageable at that point, and maybe I would agree. Yeah, they're salvageable at any point, but it just gets more traumatic. It's like pulling teeth. Well, the teeth don't get easier to pull as you let them rot into the skull, right? Okay, they get harder and harder. It becomes a big oral surgery ordeal, right? Okay, that's what I'm talking about here. Okay, that's the state we're at. It's so far gone. Just like Harry Dent is talking. Harry Dent is on Alex Jones recently. Okay, and I really like this guy a lot. He's one of these guys that could be a great president and all that. You got to understand the fundamentals of economics. But one thing he's wrong about this idea, people got to work longer and be more productive and all this crap. And I think, wait a minute, Harry, do you understand how much cheaper it'd be to end poverty in society? Just prevent it, okay? Than to have all the financial implications that are put on the back of the taxpayer in society. And that's you and me. That's poor people are paying that tax. Sales taxes, right? Where does that go to? Your police department, right? Real estate tax. Even if you're paying rent, you say, well, they're not paying tax. Yeah. What do you think the landlord's doing? They got to pay tax on that property. Yeah. So we're all paying the price for the high crime that is induced by financial desperation, okay? We're all paying the price for these dubious wars that guys otherwise wouldn't get involved in. They would do their research. They would find out, is this accurate or not? It's just like before you get medical attention. I'll give advice, but I'll tell people, do your own research, okay? But remember, with any profession, people often lie and cheat, and they skirt the rules, and they get their degrees improperly. So, I mean, there are some people that really wanted to learn the subject matter and therefore did, but a lot of people, just because they learned it, they got these high degrees, doesn't mean they really learned it. You can get smarter than them just by doing your own research. The information of the ages is at your fingertips online. We've all got it there. We're all without excuse to understand what's going on here. We can all be really smart. So all these people, the vast majority of Alex Jones's reporters, I'm partial to a couple of guys there. I mean, I'll admit. I really like Darren McBreen. I really like John Bound. And, I like them all a lot. Okay. But, I am a little partial. But I know this, that I believe that a lot of people are very much awake, and they know the fundamentals. We may disagree on how to get the end product, okay, and the end product is freedom, okay, that is what we're looking for here, and that includes financial freedom. We must be free, feel free, at least have that sense of security, so we're not afraid to let go of our money because we know it's circulating, it's coming back around. So if you call that Keynesianism, fine, but I don't believe in money printing, so I'm not talking about more and more money. I'm just talking about increasing the worth of the currency, so less and less money, but of increased worth and flowing so people are secure. You understand? Financial security. You're out of financial fear. You're financially free, not financially imprisoned in fear and in woe, you know. Okay, that's what I'm talking about here. The debt industrial complex. Harry Dent, look at all these people involved in the debt industrial complex. 25% of Americans are employed somehow in the financial services industry. We won't need them if there's no poverty. The crime is going to plummet, man, overnight if you just prevented poverty in the first place. And instead of Section 8 paying to these landlords in perpetuity, and that figure just keeps going up, we got to keep more and more people are falling through the cracks. Homelessness is on the rise. I'm talking statistics, man. This is my forte. This is my domain, man. This is where I'm coming from, man. This is who I'm a champion of. And I don't want to make a cent from my videos, okay? That's it. I do this as a service to the public. This is my garden, my most prized garden that I'm trying to cultivate and keep pruned, okay? And I want to offer this up to God and to humanity. It's just like me as a landscaper, okay? Am I to hold it against a homeowner that feels he wants to take care of? He's an artist, and this is his forte. He wants to take care of the garden, so he's out there trimming his own bushes. I think it's awesome. He's a peer. He's a colleague, right? We're into the same thing, the same artistry. I admire that. I have no problem with that. But on the other hand, you know, I wouldn't have a job if it wasn't for people that, you know, wanted somebody else to say, hey, let's see, you know, what this guy can do, which is all good. I mean, we could have common gardens everywhere. The whole freaking cities, man, could be one big garden everywhere. You know, this is the reality we could have. Believe me, we'd all be a lot more productive if we were free, okay? We'd be more ingenuitive. We'd be more innovative. We've been lied to. That's the kind of crap they teach. I've taken economics. I know what they teach. They teach this idea, yes, it's true. They're deliberately making people poor, but if you don't keep them hungry, then they stop getting innovative. They teach this crap, point blank, verbatim. That's about it. So let's get real here. So we got all these jobs that very important now. Don't get me wrong. I'll criticize people. I'll say their job is useless and invaluable. Please understand this. Let me preface that by saying that for now they can be very important, very important. The job that law enforcement does, for example, that soldiers do, very important jobs. The social welfare industry, right? The job that these people do. This is the most important. These are my heroes, except they're stuck. If you're for real and you're working in the social welfare and you really are like me, you really want to help people, you really want to fix the problem, even if it means you lose your job. You just want to dry up poverty. I get that. You know, maybe I should go and be one. You know, maybe that's the best chance I get to be an ethicist, you know. But, you know, and here's an appeal to Ben Carson. What better guy could you put in charge? Ben Carson. What a great president he would be, except for the vaccine thing. He'd be a great president, Ben Carson. But he's in charge of HUD. Well, Ben, look what you're up against. Take half of that HUD money and say, look, landlords, you're either going to have to accept less of this money because we're going to turn this thing around here and we're going to start having affordable housing like Roger Stone said Donald Trump wants to do. And I couldn't say more about that. It's like the return of Jesus is happening in slow motion, and Donald Trump is just setting the table here. Okay, he's very brave and courageous. All these haters, they openly talk about murder. They're not being prosecuted by the law. You can't threaten somebody's life and do that. This is appalling what's happened here. Demonic. I cannot disparage. I cannot excoriate these people enough that are behaving this way. Good God Almighty, this is a fellow human being. take a God's eye view. What do you think he thinks of your behavior, your hatred toward this man? You're out there, love Trump, hate, love Trump. Boom! Go cold cock some guy for his political beliefs and call him a fascist? My God, that's beyond the pot calling the kettle black, man.